everybody? This is indeed the E-Man, chilling like a villain, singing like Bob Dylan. Keep it on low with some double stuff. Oreos. And right now, man, I got a person in the building. Like, okay, like whenever when it comes to music, I love music. I love 90s music. I love 80s music. I love early 2000s music. And this man from the beautiful city of Chicago has been at it for a long time now. He started off, solo. Then he decided to be a part of this amazing group called Public Announcement, and they had hits like Body Bumping, yippee-yi-yi, and then they had one of my favorite songs, It's About Time.
Awesome.
And this guy, man, he's the lead singer of the group. And I'm excited to talk to him today. I want to welcome Mr. Felony Davis in the house. Now, do you go by Fel or you go by Felony?
Fel Davis, yeah. Fel Davis.
All right, right on. We'll go with that. How you doing today? You doing all right?
I'm well. And you?
I'm fantastic, man. It's good to see you, man. Really great to see you.
Usually
with my interviews, I like to start off at the beginning, and everybody has an origin story. That's the way I feel. You know what I mean? Batman has an origin story, so does Superman. And you started off in the beautiful city of Chicago. Now, I associate Chicago because I was raised in the South. So I was raised in North Carolina. And when we first got cable, and it took us a while to get cable. And when we finally got it, there's a station called WGN. And it completely, like, I got sucked into the culture of Chicago, like with the Bozo show. And there's this really, really neat commercial for the Lincoln Park Zoo, and they go, ooh, wow, yeah, it's brand new, the Lincoln Park Zoo, and like the Bozo show, of course, 90's dynasty of Chicago Bulls. So I just want to know what was your childhood like?
Oh man, all of that, man, all of that came up in those eras, of like you say, the Bozo days, and I came up in an era, man, where we were actually able to be kids. We played outside. Of course, there was no internet and social media, so we had to be kids. We had to go outside and create fun.
Yes, man.
From the days of playing sports outside, playing football, basketball, baseball around the neighborhood, actually building go-karts, man. We built go-karts out of wood, and we pushed the go-karts in the streets, man, and we cut the fire hydrant on, and we played in the streets and played in the water, man, and played catch a girl, kiss a girl, and hide and go seek, man. And, we just played in the neighborhood. We found things to do, found ways to be creative as kids, and
for sure.
That's what my childhood was like, man, just growing up, man. And those days were very, very classic days, man, as being a kid, man. Couldn't you when the lights come on, you had to be in the house when the street lights came on. Mama come calling, you had to be on that block, So those are the days, man, that I come up in. Well, kids, we all sit on one another's porch and we would sing and tell jokes and laugh and stuff like that, man. So those are my days, man.
Sounds a lot like my childhood. Like I'm born in Jersey. I was born in Jersey,
awesome.
Orange, New Jersey.
Okay.
So a lot of my fondest memories, especially in New Jersey, was when the ice cream truck would come around, and if you scrounge up some quarters or whatever, and you get like a banana split pop.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Or and a big part of my childhood in Jersey, especially, was like going to the movies was a big deal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it wasn't like it is now where like, you get like so many trailers and it spoils the movie. You get like one trailer, you'll get like a Siskel and Ebert on Sundays, of course, a Chicago staple, Siskel and Ebert. And then that was it in the word of mouth. So when I watched like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom for the first time, and in my household, we went to church every Sunday. There was no horror or anything like that, and that movie had a lot of horror elements, and it blew my mind. And it was like, wow, this is incredible. And so, like, those are the things that you cherish, because like it took a bit of a quest to get to the movies. You know what I'm saying? You had to ask mom if you go to the movies, and then you had to get the money, and then the snacks. And so you appreciate it. You really appreciate it when you're actually, in that seat and you're enjoying it all. Return of the Jedi too.
Absolutely.
So okay. I when I think of Chicago, I also think of like some great musical artists. Jason Weaver. I just
Yep.
recently watched a interview with him. Jason Weaver, Common,
Yeah.
Kanye,
Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey. I
Yeah.
think of there's this group on Biv 10 Records called Subway, and they
Subway.
had
Yeah.
a yeah, you remember them?
Yeah. Subway
They
had a song with 702.
yes,
Hide and
this
seek.
little game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Did you ever like run into these people, at
Yeah.
all?
Oh yeah. All the time, man. All the time.
Wow.
Carl Thomas.
Oh
Dave,
yeah, yeah.
Dave Hollister. You know. Yeah. Donnell Jones. You know.
Man.
Yeah, yeah. I see those guys. I see them quite a bit, in and out of Chicago, and sometimes we catch them out on the road doing shows and stuff like that. Yeah, man. These are
Yeah,
these are
man.
like these are like just not artists, but these are friends. We're friends.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of them I had the opportunity to be a part of their circle before the fame, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so once the fame hit, we would see each other out on tour and on some show dates and stuff like that. And it's just like family, and that's just the whole camaraderie of Chicago artists. It's always like the Chi-Town kind of thing. When we see each other, regardless to wherever we are, it's just a
Yeah.
Chi-Town thing. Yeah.
I have to know, like, when you were you seem like you've been in Chicago most of your life. What was the city like during the Bulls dynasty? I mean, what was it like living there when the Bulls were on that hot streak, man? And man, I mean, watching it's so crazy because when I in North Carolina, college basketball, especially in that time, was huge. I've always
Hmm.
been a Carolina fan. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? And so but I didn't really get into like the NBA until like seeing Michael Jordan play. It was just like
Okay.
a phenomenon, man. I mean, I can
Absolutely.
only imagine what it was like
Absolutely.
living in the city. What was it like?
Absolutely. Well, it actually, brought the city, excuse me, together. Having a player like Michael Jordan to be a part of the Chicago Bulls. That particular year that he joined the Bulls. I mean, we didn't really have anybody going to really see the Bulls. Wasn't nobody really checking for the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
once Michael Jordan joined the team, man, it just really lit the city up, man. Brought a lot of revenue to Chicago, in terms of the downtown area. And then even where the Chicago Bulls Stadium is on the west side of Chicago, which is not so good side of the city.
right, right.
It opened up, the doors for multicultural type of environment, for that side of the city. They start making a lot of changes, and it really had the city lit, man. I mean, there was a lot going on. I think during that time, we had Harry Carey, who's
Yeah,
with the,
yeah.
the announcer, downtown, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Bears, kind of thing. But so Chicago was really turned up, at that particular time, man. It was just a really great moment, in time for the city of Chicago during that era.
I almost forgot to mention two of my favorite shows growing up was Perfect Strangers and then the spinoff, which was Family Matters, which
Right.
both of them took place in Chicago. Now, I'm not
In
necessarily
Chicago.
sure if they filmed everything in Chicago, but I just
Yeah.
remember the intros of both of those songs.
Excellent.
And you see Wrigley Field and you see all of these
Right.
great buildings, and
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
always loved that.
Chicago skyline. Yeah.
The
Chicago
skyline,
skyline.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And to me, we're blessed to have lived in the being raised in the '80s and have these amazing TV theme songs like that, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I loved it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Good
Uh,
times.
yes, good
Yeah,
times, good
yeah.
times. Yes, yeah,
A lot of
definitely.
people don't know that, but yeah, good times. The theme is the Chicago projects.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't know that. Wow.
yeah.
Like some of your musical influence, but also who's like somebody you really admire that people wouldn't expect. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, of course, my musical influences are uh, in terms of R&B, the artists that, I grew up like listening to, not necessarily like listening to sing, their songs or whatever, but
Yeah, yeah.
usually your influence musically is basically growing up what you around. If you're around a lot of gospel, then that's going to be eventually your musical influence vocally, as well as the music that you like. I grew up on a lot of R&B, so I wouldn't say soul, but just R&B, standard R&B music. Your Luther Vandrosses and Stevie Wonder, of course, and I could recall here listening to some in my younger years. My brothers and sisters were into music, Marvin Gaye and Donny Hathaway and
Right.
Peebo Bryson's. Those are the kind of that's what I hear. That's what I hear when I'm writing music. My tones and things of that nature. Whenever I'm recording or singing or whatever, that's what I hear.
Okay.
But and music that people wouldn't actually believe that I listened to, and that what it molded me and influenced me was blues music, blues.
Okay.
BB King, Albert King, Bobby Blue Bland,
Yeah.
Muddy Waters, because my dad was an advocate listener of blues music. So when my brothers and sisters weren't listening to like the R&B and stuff like that, and my dad was listening to music, my mom and dad would listen to blues,
Right.
and that kind of molded me as well, as far as sometimes my delivery musically and the way that I write, because the way that I write is actually based on storytelling, and that was just something that kind of happened naturally. I didn't like, okay, I'm gonna write a story, but the strength of my writing comes from telling stories. And I think
Okay.
that
Yeah.
comes from the type of music that I'm accustomed to listening to.
I feel that, man. I especially feel that, and I'm not jumping ahead, but like It's About Time is like seriously like one of my favorite
Awesome.
songs. Like
Awesome.
I really, and I the group is great. I really consider like you were like one of those singers that a lot of people sleep on. You know what I'm saying? And
Respect.
but
Respect.
I think you have a way of singing that's very unique. So were you raised in the church?
Well, yes, I was brought up in the church, but here's the funny thing, that I wasn't. I sing in a church choir, but I was never a lead singer. I was just always in the background. I was younger in the choir, and I was a kid in church, just going to church just because the church was founded by a relative. So most of the members were cousins of mine. So,
Okay,
I would
yeah.
just go to church to visit and be with my cousins, and we would play around in church and, slip out the back door and go climbing the apple trees and stuff like that.
Nice.
But I was definitely in the choir. Nobody knew I could sing until one day word got out that I could hold a note, and we was at choir practice, and the pastor was there, and he asked me to sing something, and I sang a little something for him. And then that Sunday, I'll never forget that Sunday. I had to be about maybe 10 or 11. And
Okay.
that Sunday, he asked me, he said, I'm going to have you sing this song Sunday in church. I didn't want to do it, but it's the pastor. He asked me to do it, and I sang. And then that was my whole introduction to actually singing a lead song. And it was
Oh
in
wow,
front of
okay.
everybody in the church, and everybody in the church really got all excited. And that particular feeling was like, man, I think this is what I want to do.
Okay.
Just from that feeling. And I think it just kind of took off from there. But I was always told by my mom that my voice was unique. She said my tones are like my great grandmother, because my great grandmother was a singer as well.
Okay.
And she said my mother would always tell me that, and I didn't understand that until I really got into the music industry. That people
Hmm.
would tell me that, man, you got a different kind of tone. You sound
Yeah.
yeah. So it was hard for me to accept it and adjust to it, because when I was coming up starting to sing like in the early 90's, doing talent shows and stuff like that, you always kind of wanted to sound like somebody to
Yes, yeah.
identify, but
Yeah.
I didn't sound like anybody. So I was like,
Hmm.
well, but after moving forward and understanding that I had my own thing, I was
Yeah.
able to start accepting it. Yeah.
Right on, man. So the next thing I want to kind of get into is like with public announcement. It's I said this in the interview. I said this in interviews before on my podcast. I feel like from the years 1990 to maybe early 2000 was like a really special, irreplaceable, golden era of R&B that, I mean, to me, it doesn't get enough praise. You know what I'm saying? You got groups like, you got Boys to Men, Monica, but then you got groups like Allure. You got groups like The Boys, who I idolized. I thought those guys were fantastic. I actually had the pleasure of interviewing two of the brothers. Spectrum of music, and then at the end of that spectrum, near the end of it, you got the pop groups. You got Backstreet and NSYNC, who I also love too. You know what I'm saying? But I just think that was just a really special time that I don't think gets a lot of credit. And like you're a part of a group that, it's kind of funny. I associate groups and colors together. You know what I'm saying? So when I think of Public Announcement, I think of Electric Blue because you guys had the Electric Blue suits on. When I think of Jagged Edge, I think of red because they had usually on red and black. You know what I mean? I think of Boys the Men, I think of plaids because they had the Alexander Vanderpool thing. I think of 112, I think of cream because they usually had like white suits,
Jodeci with the black, right? Correct.
Jodeci with the black.
Yeah.
All for One had more of a khaki denim
Yeah.
thing happening.
Yeah.
So I mean, was that purposely done, especially with your group? Because you guys had a really unique look. It's like you guys had megaphones and you guys had blue, this electric blue thing. Was that like a purposely done to separate yourself from other groups?
It was it was based on the song. If I could go back, writing for Public Announcement, our first hit, which was Body Bumping, was probably that song was already taken off before we were actually signed to A&M Records. It was a Midwest smash. The way that song came about was we got together, we was working with the manager and the executive producer was saying that coming from the group that we were with, which was Public Announcement, and being associated with the lead singer of Public Announcement and R. Kelly. I'm going to say it. I'll say it. It's not a problem.
Okay.
After he left the group to go on to be solo, because this is information that you actually need. So actually, gotcha. he moved on to go solo. Okay, after the Born Into the 90's album. Okay.
All right.
So we decided we wanted to continue to move forward as a group. So we needed songs that would set us apart from that, because we had already toured the world with him, and so in order for us to actually come out on our own and be successful, we needed a song that was more of a novelty, kind of sing along, because Body Bumping is kind of like that, sing along kind of thing, fun kind of song,
Yeah.
So
super catchy.
So that whole thing, the way that I wrote that song, and then the dance, of course, the little yippee-yi-yo dance.
Yippee-yi-yo, yippee-yi-yo.
Yeah. Then the blue suits and stuff like that. So yeah, that was put together that way to actually set us aside from what we were currently doing with R. Kelly, if that makes sense. We had to go like totally, because then, we had the vest and then, and then those shirts on and the whole kind of thing. So we had to do something different, but still, a lot of people would say, said that they thought that Body Bumping and the Yippee-yi-yo was R. Kelly, because people said that we did have similar tones.
Yeah.
And just coming from that camp, which is, so that was good because it still had some familiarity to what the sound, but it was different, so people would say, okay, is that them? Is that still him? Is that them? So it worked out, you know what I mean? It worked out. So they set it up so that it could actually work out that way for us in our behalf.
who came up with the logo? Because that's a really unique logo. Because if you look at it real fast, it looks like a radiation sign, but it's not. It's
Right.
it's kind of like
It's the it's the
speakers, the
right.
public
It's the way.
announcement.
Yeah. Yeah. The group, we all came up with that. We all
Okay.
kind of worked that thing out. Yeah. Because one guy said, put up the said the public announcement with the megaphone, and then another guy said, well, we could do the sound waves, and we all have the tattoo.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. That's the
yeah, yeah. We
that's
all have the
dope.
tattoo. Yeah,
Yeah, in man. 98. Now this is interesting because you came in the group a little later, right?
right.
Because you took over as lead. In 90, and I think in 96, but in 98, All Work and No Play debuted. Now, some of my favorite tracks on there, of course, is Yippee Straight from the Heart, Children Hold On. I really like Children Hold On, it has a really great message. But my absolute favorite song is It's About Time. And I wanted to ask you, like, there's certain parts of the song that it starts. It's going to sound real strange. Do you know who the X-Men are?
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like in that song, like you're Professor X. This is going to sound really crazy, but I
Okay.
feel like you're Professor X and you're trying to calm down the Phoenix. So it's just
Okay.
like, in the very beginning of the song, it's like you're almost like speaking in melody. You know what I'm saying? And then there's certain parts of the song where like you really kind of break free, and it's like there's certain parts that really like hit my soul, and I don't even know why. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? There are parts like in the second part of the song, you go, it's about time to let it and go, oh, you hit this
Yeah.
note. I want to know specifically with that part right there, it what was what was going through your mind? Like what were you trying to put out there? You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, like I said, it touches my soul and I don't even know why. Yeah, it
Okay.
has really nothing to do with the content of the song. It's just the way you sing it.
Right. Well, when I did get the song, because the song was written by Trayvon Potts, the
Okay.
songwriter out of LA. I wrote Angel of Mine for Monica. And, he's
Oh,
great
okay.
songwriter. Great friend also. And when he gave us that song to record, he actually it was I don't know if it was a movie or a script or something that he had us to kind of watch to actually get the actual feel of the song.
Yeah.
However, it was very, very heartfelt, what we watched. So we watched this particular movie. I don't know the name of the movie or whatever, but it was a scene in the movie where it was a very sad kind of situation, but the movie was mute and the song was playing during this particular clip.
Oh, okay.
You see,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we watched it over and over and over and over and over. And then when he played the actual demo for me, then I likened what I was watching to the song. And then when he played the actual track without the
Yeah.
words to it, is what brought out, you know, my spirit in the song. So it was kind of, that type of thing. So it was what I watched, that type of thing, because it was some kind of issue with a guy and a girl, and he was kind of going through something or whatever. And then it's
Mm-hmm.
funny because the video ended up being similar to that.
Right, right.
If you
It
watch the
felt like
video,
that.
it was yeah. So it kind of I think that's what made me deliver the record the way that it did. And then there were times, if you notice, there's times in the record where the record really kind of swells
Mm-hmm.
musically, with the strings and all of that. So that, everything's it's always just from the heart, man. A lot of times I don't know where it comes from, but it just, I was always told by my mom, what comes from the heart reaches the heart. And
Yeah.
I'm happy to know that song or that particular moment in the song touched your spirit like that, man.
Yeah. It's like I feel it. I feel it when you talk about storytelling. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if I didn't watch the video, if I just listened to the song, it feels like a movie. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? You know what I'm
yes,
saying? There's a part where you like, I'm I'm just gonna you go, have me in the background. Yeah, dude, how do you do that?
Yeah,
How do
it's
you
it's
do?
just a it's just a
How do you do that, man?
it's just a it's a feeling. It's a feeling. It's like, you know, it's like a, because I probably don't do that when I'm doing the song live. I mean, when I did it, that was just a moment when I did it.
Right.
And when I cover the song now, like if I do it live, the only time I'll do it is if someone say, do my part. And they'll say, I like this part in this song. Are you going to do it tonight when y'all sing this song or whatever, you know? But other than that, it was just that moment. It was just that moment. It's just a moment.
And to take nothing away from, and I also, when I, especially when it comes to 4-part harmony groups, I always listen to the background. I really keep my ear on it, and the guy's backgrounds is so I can't describe it. It's perfect, man. It's just like time to let him go. It goes perfectly with what you're doing, and like I really appreciate it, man, because it's like there are a lot of singers who have the gift of doing runs and stuff like that, and it doesn't feel genuine, but it feels genuine when it comes from you. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel like you're trying to do what to put on the show. That's like seriously like one of my favorite songs, man. I can't I listen to it at least like twice a month, man. You know what I'm saying? I really feel it, man.
Thank you.
So with the video, it's really interesting because it feels like the woman is going through like some kind of weird Stockholm syndrome type of deal where she's like, you know, she's getting abused by her man, but she's still with her man. You know what I'm saying? Who directed that video?
That video was directed by I can't think of the guy's name. David Weiss. I think David Weiss. I think
David Weiss. That sounds familiar.
So. Yeah.
How was it like being on set and doing demonstrating your acting chops too?
Well, that was actually, to be honest with you, that was the first situation where first video where I was had to do some acting. So it was pretty cool. We've all been there, in that type of situation where we all know somebody, that's a girl or whatever that's being, in a situation like that. So I was very familiar with the actual role that I played by being that guy who's saying, hey, you don't have to deal with this. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
The crazy part about it was the fight scene, right?
Yeah.
So when the video came out, and all my friends and family got a chance to actually see it, everybody was laughing because I'm not a violent guy at all. So to see me in a fight scene was kind of funny, man. But
it's super funny because the cops show up conveniently
right
as
away,
soon
right?
as you as soon as you show up. Like it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to ask you this very important question when it comes to childhood, because I ask everybody this question. Growing up, what was your favorite cereal?
Captain Crunch peanut butter.
Dude, I'm telling you, whenever I've asked that question so many times with different people, I've had 4 different people say Captain Crunch peanut butter.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good stuff. Sir. Good stuff. I've always loved. I never could get the real good stuff growing up because my mom, we always had was cornflakes. I would go to my cousin's house. He would have Captain Crunch. He would have, Smurfberry Crunch was amazing. You know what I'm saying? So he had all the good stuff.
Yeah.
So we kind of talked about Yippee-I-Yo earlier, but I wanted to know who was the choreographer of that video?
You know what's gonna be crazy? My sister.
Get out of here.
Yeah, my sister did the choreography for that particular the dance, the whole little Yippee Gallop thing. Yeah, she created that way before the song came out, before it actually got big. We were just kind of writing it and demoing it, and coming back and forth from the studio to my parents' house in the backyard, and we were rehearsing in my parents' backyard, and we would play the song, in the backyard on the speakers or whatever. And she created that little gallop thing for us. Yeah. She always, every time I see her, she always reminds me of that. Hey, I never got paid for my dance. Yeah. Nice. But my sister actually spearheaded that whole Yippee-I-Yo dance for that.
Cool.
For that record. Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah. So I can't believe I forgot to ask you this question.
I'm sorry. Shout out Norma. Shout out Norma Lee.
Shout out to your sister Norma. Yeah. And shout out to my barber. Shout out to my barber. We always have these type of conversations about movies. So 7th Ave and Rock Hill, shout out to Daryl and the crew.
No doubt.
I wanted to know, this is kind of current because there's a lot of stuff going on in Hollywood now, you know, of course, with the writer's strike and of course with the actors now joining with the strike. And I mean, as an entertainer, right? You know, with AI being rampant and, you know, now you can just type in whatever and then like you can produce a song and it's coming from AI. How does that make you feel as an entertainer? How do you feel about the whole situation in general?
Well, I mean, I understand it, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, this is a business, and this is how, you know, this is our livelihood. You know, this is how we feed our families, you know, and stuff like that, you know. So at the end of the day, I mean, I agree, you know, I'm a songwriter as well, you know, and it's, you know, I don't want to feel like, you know, I'm just doing this for my health. I do it because I love it, but still at the same time, I have to, you know, I have families to feed, and I need a livelihood, you know. So at the end of the day, you definitely have to feel, you know, worth, you know, what it is that you do, you know. And you know, with the situation going on, I think I just saw it episode where Snoop, I think I posted it on Facebook, where he was talking about the whole streaming thing, and you know, where's our money? Where's the money? You know, with the songwriting, the producers, and you know, that whole thing, you know. And you know, I get it, you know, I totally get it. I mean, and at the end of it, somebody has to like take a stand to say, no, we're just not gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I agree wholeheartedly with the movement.
Yeah, like I feel like we were, as human beings, we were born to create. The reason why we were born to create is because it gives us an outlet. So we can have this outlet so we won't do anything stupid. So it's like, you know, machines aren't really made to create. Machines and technology is supposed to be used as tools.
Right.
As tools. But behind every tool, there's a force, and we're the force.
Exactly.
So I just feel like, you know, like when AI and things like that start to interfere with the creative process and you know and take away jobs, there's a, like, just like you said, there's a point where you got to just put your foot down and be like, nah, that's unacceptable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I think it's ridiculous how like some of these higher ups, you know, they've kind of lost touch with, you know, hey, we're all people. We all deserve to eat, and we all deserve to create, and we all deserve to make projects and the future projects in the works. I know one of the members of Public Announcement now has a solo thing happening now. Are you guys still performing as a group? What's going on?
Yeah. Yes. We're just very, very selective about the dates, you know, tour dates, and we just make sure that everything runs smoothly in terms of the dates, how we book. You know, if the group member Marquet, he has a solo project, and we just make sure that his dates don't clash with the group dates. You know, but so we're still doing dates. We're still moving forward.
Right on. Pizza. Sorry, I know this is really you know, but it's Chicago. So they say Chicago
the best.
Now I've heard that deep dish is not considered Chicago, but is actually thin. Is that true?
Deep dish is Chicago. Who told you? Where you hear that at?
I heard it on a TikTok. They say, like, you know, actually the real Chicago pizza is thin crust. That's what this girl from Chicago said.
Chicago has great pizza. Period. Thin crust, deep dish. You know, I mean, I'm a pizza connoisseur. So every city, every state that we've gone in, I've always made it my business to try some pizza. You know, and it's just, I mean, if it's great pizza, it's great pizza. I don't care where I am. You know what I mean? I'm a show the love. But you know, Chicago is, you know, we have so many different places. You know, we don't have just one place. Say, okay, this Chicago have great pizza at this establishment. You know, we have so many different great pizza places here in Chicago. So many. Yeah, and then you can go to our convenience stores, like our grocery stores, and get great pizza.
Wow. How can people reach you? Like,
Social media, yeah, Fel Davis, everything. Fel Davis, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Fel Davis.
Right on.
FELDAVIS. Simple.
Right on, brother, man. Hey, I really appreciate your time. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
I can't believe I'm talking to you. It's really cool, man. When I tell you, man, I love that song, man. It's something so much. Absolutely. For your time, man. I appreciate
Thank you for having me. God bless you.
Yes, sir. God bless you, man. Thank you.